My name is Samuel Jackman. I'm 24 years old and I'm the opposite spiker for AC Oulu Volley this season. And me as a person, I'm a pretty fun guy, I think. I think it shows on the court when I play. I don't know, I have a love for the game, and I wouldn't necessarily call myself a volleyball player. I'd call myself kind of like an athlete competitor. I like to play. I just like to compete. It's fun. You know, get the blood pumping, running against guys, shouting through the net, just saying stuff. Anything that gets the blood pumping, I have fun doing. My childhood is always fun to talk about. I'm the second youngest of 7 kids. There's my older brother, my older sisters. I think between all of us, there's 2 years. Then between me and my older sister, my younger brother, there's also 2 years between the two of us. And also, ever since I was a kid, I've always been, I wouldn't say pushed around per se, because that's not fair to say, but they're always bigger than me, stronger than me, smarter than me. So I definitely kind of learned, I'm like, okay, I'm smaller, I'm younger, not as smart as them. As I got older, I think that's where that competitive drive came from. I started volleyball pretty late. I played basketball, football, not like American football, yeah, European football. I played badminton a little bit. I think I played a little bit of baseball, only like 1 year back when I was in middle school. But no, I played quite a few sports, ran track and field all through high school. I was very active in athletics, and it's been a big part of my life, big part of my family's life. Everyone in my family played some sport. I've always dreamed of playing professionally in Europe, so I'm glad to be here. Let's see, so my volleyball career, I started in Canada. I went to a university like 3 hours from my house. It's Brandon University, you know, go Bobcats. It's a good team. We had a really, really good program when I got there. We had, let me think, we had a couple Canadian national team guys, a couple Australian national team guys. When I was young, you know, 17, 18, skinny, not very strong. I mean, not much has changed, but I was there, I was grinding, and I learned a lot from those guys. There was a couple I never played with any, like, I don't know, I didn't really get to play a ton that first year, but it was more just watching them and seeing kind of what it took to get here. Because I would say, I think 4 of the guys from our starting 6 that year all went to play professionally the year after. So I was able to kind of see, okay, if I want to go play in Europe, I got to do what these guys do. I was there for 2 years, and then COVID struck, and then I transferred to the United States, where I played 2 years there as well under Coach Riley Salmon. And he's an ex-famous American Olympic player. He's very high level, and he was able to teach me kind of the mental side of like, okay, you can jump high, you can hit hard, and you can do all these things, but now you got to understand when you're playing games, like hitting percentages and kills to errors, you know, service aces to errors, like understand you got to be able to control that stuff. Because when you get over to Europe and you're getting paid to do this, there's expectations now. I graduated, and then I went to Sweden, was my first year. Now that was a culture shock, because I am from like Manitoba, and I did go to University of North Dakota, but it was very, I don't know, it was not what I expected when I got there. Because I think a lot of people tell you like, oh, it's going to be these huge gymnasiums with thousands of fans, but the place I played in was very small, very similar to QQ that we went to the other day. Very similar size community, and I did not like it. It was just hard. But it was good there. I got to see what it took to play in Europe, because there was quite a few guys that played in that league that had left to play in other leagues that had came back. So I understood, I'm like, okay, if I want to go to, I mean, Italy is obviously, you know, peak of anyone's athletic career, but you want to go to Italy, you got to be like these guys. So I was like, okay. And the year after that, I went to Austria for half of the season. It was really nice. I got to play in the European Cup, the Challenge Cup. I got to play in the Mevza also. Got to play teams from, let's see, we played Hungary, Croatia, Slovakia, Slovenia. So I got to see a lot of the top players that ended up moving off to other clubs, and I was able to understand, again, what I needed to do to get there. And, you know, again, I'm a competitor, so I'm not going to be satisfied till I'm sitting on a beach in the Mediterranean somewhere. So let's see. And then after that, at Christmas, I transferred to a club in Greece in the A2. Iraklis Thessaloniki. It's a very good club. This is, I don't know, it's definitely, I think that's where I really kind of blossomed as a volleyball player. I understood, I'm like, I'm unstoppable now you see on the court why I play with so much energy, so much, maybe some call it overconfidence, but I realized that's how I can tap into that ability that, you know, maybe will take me far, who knows. And I was there for the season. We finished 4th. I actually played Pitu Makinen, and this is where we played each other. So I met him for the first time, a really good guy, and he kind of told me about the Finnish Volleyball League a little bit, and that's where I got kind of the idea in my head. I was like, okay, maybe this Nordic countries isn't the worst place. I was like, maybe I'll go back. And then I went back to Greece the second season, played, and then I was offered to go to Lebanon around Christmas, just after Christmas, to like in the second half of the season to go play, and I was like, I don't know, let's see what it's like, because I see all these other guys going to the Arabic countries, making crazy money and just having fun. So I was like, why not? So I went, I played there for about a month and a half, give or take. Had a good time, learned a lot about, again, expectations of what coaches and managers expect from an opposite at the high level. So I got to go there, see what it was like, and I had a lot of fun. I think the decision was very easy. Like, after talking to Coach Sammy, when he told me everything, I was like, I could not come here. Like, as far as just the country itself, like, it's the happiest country on the planet, for the last 5 years ranked. So I'm like, how can I not come to the happiest country on the planet? Also, I think the city, I think it's like the perfect, now that I'm here and I can see it with my own eyes, I didn't doubt it for a minute, but obviously it's not too big of a city, it's not too small of a city. It's like the right size where I can find everything I'm looking for. Even though I was talking to my teammates and they were telling me that, Oulu is like the most international city in Europe or something like that. And I was like, wild for a city that does, not more than 1 million people, but I was like, sure enough. So yeah, for me, it was a very easy decision. Once I saw everything, once I met the players and we texted online, once I, called Sammy, once I talked to different managers and they kind of told me about the situation here, how, they got the promotion, they were coming, and they were coming with a vengeance to try to win the league. I was like, everyone's kind of like me, like they're trying to improve themselves and prove something, which is exactly what I came here for. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. It's too easy. I think the biggest strength would be the unity we have. Even coming back from Kyoto this past game, we beat them days before and then lost to them at their home gym. Usually what would happen, or at least on previous teams, you're driving home on the bus, coach is angry, he's somewhere off, all the players are separated on the bus, but that is not at all what happened. We were all sitting there playing this tiki poker on the bus. This is what we did for like the whole 3-hour drive back. Everyone's laughing, everyone's, and it's not necessarily that we don't care, but it's almost that I think we've only known each other, or at least I've only known them for about 2 weeks, but we all had each other's backs to say, okay, we're gonna go back to practice, Monday, go to the gym, get strong, and we'll do it again. We'll come back. And I think it's that kind of like unity slash kind of unwillingness to give up that I think is probably our biggest strength. I think as far as my strengths go as a player, I'm a physical guy. This has always been what it's been. Even when I was a kid, I always knew from a younger age, I don't know if it's a genetic thing. I always joke that it's a genetic thing to my friends just to egg them on. I'm like, I've been born this way. Didn't have to work for it, but that's not true at all. I go to the gym, I lift, I train. And I think that the ability to jump high, move fast, control my body a little quicker than other people can, have a bit more control. I think in the matches so far, at least, I've been able to kind of see the difference. Like, okay, that is something that maybe I possess at an elevated level compared to some other volleyball players. So I think that would be by far my biggest strength. Like, even some of the balls I choose to swing on, other players would say, I can't quite get my body on top of it the way I would like to, where for me, I'm like, it's almost a no-brainer. It just happens. Just as I'm approaching, I find my path and I attack, and it just kind of works out. And I'm like, yeah, neat. Oh boy. Let me think. It would have to be, I think, when I was in Greece the first time, we played, I can't remember. Oh, it's this club called Flisvos. And in this league, the foreigners carry a lot the burden. As most leagues, the foreign players carry a lot of the offensive and defensive load. And this game, I remember we watched lots of film. This was a do or die game. We were, I think, 3rd or 2nd in the table, and the team we were playing was 1st in the table. And if we beat them, and I didn't know this about European sports at the time, because in America we don't have this like kind of table, but where if you finish the regular season first, you just get the championship and it's over, and then the other teams have to play off or whatever. I wasn't really aware of this. So it was kind of like a race to see who would finish the regular season first going into playoffs. So then we had played this team, and we were 2nd or 3rd. They beat my team in the first half of the season, and both foreigners, I remember, they're really good guys. I'm friends with them now, really good guys. But in that game, I remember it was so heated. It wasn't even like angry heated. It was almost just like 4 guys trying to prove who was better than the next guy. And every time one of us would score, we'd look through the net, maybe stare him down, maybe flex on him, show him some muscles or something. And this was probably the highest energy I've ever played in my life. Like, I've previously gotten pretty energetic and excited, but this is the time where I got a defense ball. I'm popping up. As you see, I sweat now, but this game I was swimming all over the court. I'd get up and I'd shout, let's go, and then I'd go to the net, look at him. I was like, you're not gonna get me, not again. And then I'd go to the service line and I'm staring at him under the net, letting him know, I'm like, this ball's coming to you. You're gonna be better passer, or I'm getting an ace, or just all sorts of stuff. And this was the most high, and we had lots of fans back then, and Greece, I don't know if you know much about hooligans in Greece, but they get loud, they jump around, they got their banners, their flares, and it was a high energy game. This was, I think my heart was beating like 200 beats a minute that game, maybe 400, I don't know. But that was by far like crowning, like, I think we ended up losing that game in 5 sets, but still, that was the most enjoyable time I've had playing volleyball, I think. Hopefully to top that this season with the Oulu fans here, hopefully. Yeah, exactly. You said it the best. As far as my wife traveling with me, this is the lifestyle I enjoy. I don't know, I think when I was a kid and I see like these basketball players, soccer players, football players, I always saw them like the most successful ones had their wives with them right there. And I've always had this kind of logic that if I played all these seasons without her, I wouldn't necessarily respect it as much if she came along after, because then I'd be like, well, I played all these seasons by myself. You're kind of here as an accessory, as opposed to we can look back at it, when we have kids, 20 years from now, sitting there, look at some of these jerseys and be like, oh, you remember that? I remember that. Remember when we were on this flight? Even I think when we went to Lebanon, we woke up at like, I think 2 in the morning to board our flight to get from Greece to Lebanon, and it was crazy. We didn't know. We packed the bags, threw it together, zipped them. We were on the flight. So like, memories like that, stuff you can't really get if she's not here with me. And I was really happy that Coach Sammy understood that, because some coaches will say, oh, we want you to be here by yourself, focus. But if she was somewhere else and I was here, I don't think I could focus as much. It's almost like, I don't know, like earlier I talked about having something to prove. She's one of those things where I've the person I prove it to. Like, see, I'm good, I can play. I'll get us, in these high leagues, making all this money. And even if I did, she would never tell me. She'd be proud of me either way. But I still, work hard when she's here. Definitely a lot harder when she's here versus when she's not. So, yeah, it's the only lifestyle I could ever really dream about, her coming with me. So, my career, I would like to play at least in the Champions League once. Now that I've played in the European Challenge Cup and I've got to kind of understand, and in the MEBs I understand now playing internationally against other clubs, I would like to play in the Champions League at least once, just to play against that top group of teams in Europe, or even in the Club World Championships. That'd be nice, just to really see these like physically dominant players. Because I think even me, when I started playing volleyball once, because I remember when I was in high school, I looked at the college kids like, oh, these guys are crazy. Now when I was in college, I looked at the pros, I'm like, these guys are crazy. Now that I am a pro, I'm like, I'm still looking ahead. So I think as far as career, I'd like to, if I could, I'd like to spend at least one season at for the national team. That'd be nice. I think I'm kind of nearing that time where if I keep doing what I'm doing, it should be pretty close by. And then I would also really like to spend at least one season on a team that's playing in that Champions League, where it's the top teams on the planet, and see, again, where I stack up. I feel like that would make me feel as if I've accomplished what I've set out to do. That'd be nice, yeah. My promise to the fans, anyone who knows me, I give it my all. Every practice, my shirt weighs 3 kilos more because of all this sweat. I've never once not played my heart out. I will give everything I have to guarantee that, we finish in that top 3, if not win the championship. I've always had that mentality that everywhere I go, we will win the championship, and I'll make that promise to you guys too. We will win the championship. I'll give everything I have to make that happen. Everything I have.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam.
Of course. Pleasure to be here.